Friday's video report, a solid winner with Wisconsin taking care of business at home and a blowout of Utah State. Also dispensed some great advice that led to wins on Navy and Colorado. With the midshipmen, I warned you that even though they lost a hell of a lot of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball from last year's team, with the service academies, it's all about the systems. They just plug in new players. And you saw last night that that triple option attack really didn't lose a lot. And let's face it, as I also warned you, the Florida Atlantic and Lane Kiffin's first season, they're going to score some points, but that defense has been so bad for a number of years, they're going to give up points in droves. And then the Colorado State game. A lot of people were on Colorado State last night. And listen, last Saturday, I opened up this college football season with a big play on Colorado State, and they absolutely destroyed Oregon State. But I warned you, after that game last Sunday and on last Thursday and again in yesterday's video report, that Colorado State team wasn't that good. You know, they weren't opening their new home stadium again yesterday. They were playing in Denver, and they weren't playing a little sister of the poor like Oregon State. They were playing a bully this time in Colorado. And Colorado State, you saw last night when they ran up against a good defense, that offense for the Rams silenced last night. So it was a productive report. I hope you made some money. One thing, we've had a few days of college football, and you've seen a hell of a lot of blowouts. Should you be surprised? Absolutely not. Remember, the first couple of weeks of college football, you have all these non-conference games. You have the big boys of college football taking on the little sisters of the poor. You have teams like Nevada today going to Northwestern for a big payout. The Wolfpack are getting $1.3 million to travel because they fund their athletic budgets, these little sisters of the poor, in this case Nevada, by taking these payout games. So you can anticipate mismatches. Now, does that mean they're bad games? No, because remember what I said also at the outset of the season. These games, even the ones with the big point spreads, they're still the same 50-50 betting propositions, right? You don't find value in the big marquee games, the Florida State, Alabama, the Michigan, Florida games. Those games have lines that are so sharp, but they're the same 50-50 betting propositions as the Wisconsin, Utah State games, okay? But what you do have in the opening 3 weeks of the season, no matter the sport, is that you have lines that aren't accurate, because it's the only time we have the advantage over the odds makers, because they don't know any more about these teams than we do. And there's so many teams that they can't possibly have a handle on all these teams out there. So that's the advantage we have. You don't have sharp numbers on a lot of these non-marquee teams. Sure, you're going to have a sharp number on Alabama and Florida State because it's easy to have a sharp number when these are two very public teams. You're not going to have a sharp number on the Utah States of this world. It's just not going to happen because not everybody's focusing on what the hell's going on in Logan, Utah. That's reality. That's why we have the advantage over the odds makers in the opening 3 weeks of the season in any sport. You can focus on the spring games. You can focus on what the beat writers are writing. Too many teams. So you have soft numbers. Listen, if that Wisconsin-Utah game is played 3 weeks from now, right? 3 weeks from now, and you have a couple of games results to look at from both teams, Wisconsin is naturally, instead of a 27.5-point favorite last night, is laying 37 points. That's reality. So when you have big boards like today, as I say, the second part of my philosophy comes into play. You concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least. So let's get busy with today's card. As for me, I'm 2 for 2 so far in college football. They've both been top-rated 15-dime releases. You've got them both for half price. Colorado State over Oregon State last Saturday. Thursday night, another blowout, even easier. Oklahoma State taking on Tulsa and winning that one easily. Today, I found another mismatch. And again, I think the odds makers have installed this home favorite, and it's undervalued. This home chalk is undervalued. This is a situation, again, I think if these two were matched up a few weeks from now, this home chalk would be probably laying another 6 or 7 points. And it's, again, the half price play of the day. You can get that coupon code over on the homepage. Also today, once more, rewarding you, all you baseball gamblers out there that have been with us throughout the summer, for your patronage and loyalty. You can save 30% off your total purchase price today. And it's a coupon that's applicable to any combination of picks and or packages. It's the single biggest discount of the entire season. You save 30% simply by using coupon code, 30%. All your coupons, etc., over on the homepage. Let's get to your complimentary plays. Mike Riley is in his 3rd year in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it's about time Mike Riley starts delivering. Now, I think for Nebraska this year, if the Cornhuskers win 10 games, that'll be considered a successful season. The Cornhuskers are a 14.5-point favorite today at home against Arkansas State. The key question for Nebraska this year will how successful they will be at quarterback, because Tanner Lee Jr., a transfer from Tulane, is going to be taking over. He was with the program last year on the scout team as he sat out last year. He is more of a traditional thrower, passer. So it'll be interesting to see how they assimilate him into the system. Listen, Nebraska has a new defensive coordinator, Bob Diaco, who was the former Connecticut head coach. He was a lousy head coach, but he earned his bones in this business as an excellent defensive coordinator. He has installed an attacking 3-4 scheme, so you can expect Nebraska, especially those linebackers, to come in there and really go after the Red Wolves, who have a rebuilt offensive line. All 5 starters are gone from last year's squad. Yes, they have their quarterback, Justice Hansen, back, and they have some talent at running back and some top wide receivers back, but he's playing on the road with a rebuilt offensive line. So I think this is a big problem. And remember, this is an Arkansas State team that last year opened the season losing 55-6 to USC, losing at home 31-10 to Toledo. Now, granted, those were 2 more talented teams offensively than this Nebraska team that you're going to start seeing today. And last year, Arkansas State opened the season 0-4 before beating up a bunch of Sun Belt Conference foes. Arkansas State lost 6 starters on offense, 6 starters on defense. Nebraska, 19 straight home night game wins at Memorial Stadium since 2008. 45-5 all-time under the lights in Lincoln. I think the way to go here is to lay the points, 14.5. It's a pretty cheap price. And no, you're not buying the half point on the 14.5, okay? So I'm going to go with Nebraska here and lay the points with them in this contest. It was tempting to lay the 33.5 points with Auburn, but that's a game. Jarrett Stidham, the former Baylor quarterback, making his debut for Auburn today, but you're going against a Georgia Southern team with that triple option. It's always going to give an Auburn defense some problems here, so I didn't want to touch that game. Another game I handicapped today was the Vanderbilt-Middle Tennessee State game. That's a revenge game for Middle Tennessee State. It's a fair price at 3.5. Last year in a rain-delayed game that was, matter of fact, they called stoppage of play for like an hour and a half. Vanderbilt rolled at home. Well, this one's on Middle Tennessee State's field, and you better believe the Blue Raiders, who have a talented crew, are just itching for revenge in this one. But again, I think that game could go either way. So for your second complimentary play, I actually turned to a game between Northwestern and Nevada. And again, the Wolfpack are being paid $1.3 million to come in for this game. Now, remember last season, Northwestern opened up. They lost to Western Michigan, a team that went on to have a hell of a season last year. And then in week number 2, they got upset by Illinois State. They lost at home to Illinois State 9-7. Now, from that point forward, Northwestern played some great ball. But I don't think they're going to want to open the season with that type of performance once again. They're a 24-point favorite today. Now, Northwestern has some offensive problems from a year ago that they've got to get straightened out. Their defense is good. Their running back, damn good. Justin Jackson, 1,524 yards last year, 15 touchdowns. He is I think he's number 2 in the nation in terms of returning running backs in terms of total career yardage with 4,129 yards. And they have a pretty good quarterback in Clayton Thorson Jr., who passed for over 3,100 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 9 interceptions last year. The key, however, is this offensive line. They've got 4 starters coming back, but although they were good with their run blocking, their pass protection last year was pathetic. They allowed 39 sacks. If that line can gel, Northwestern could really be something this year. They're not going to beat Ohio State. They're not going to beat Michigan. They may have trouble with Wisconsin, but they can certainly be a top 4 team. Let me put that back. They're not going to beat Penn State either. But they could be one of the top 5 teams, let's say, in the conference. As far as Nevada, for years we've heard with Nevada, they run that pistol. No more pistol, okay? No more pistol. Instead, they're going to an air raid style attack. Remember Hal Mumme, the guy that used to run the air raid attack when he was the Kentucky head coach for a long time? Well, his son, Matt Mumme, is now the offensive coordinator there. And, they've got a strong receiver core, but they're unsettled at quarterback. They've got a defense, Nevada, that has 18 of their top 20 tacklers back from last year's team. But the Nevada defense last year was awful. I mean, they had the worst run defense in all of Division I ball. They gave up 6.1 yards per carry. So their new defensive coordinator came in and he installed a 3-3-5 defense. That's the defense that San Diego State has played for 100 years, okay? Well, when you got a 3-3-5 defense, that may be great for stopping teams from passing on you, but 3-3-5, think about what I told you about how well Northwestern runs the ball, and you're an undersized front as well. And this defense last year only had 13 sacks, and 7 of those 13 sacks came in 2 games. Well, you're going to be able to run the ball on them. You didn't have any quarterback pressure last year. Northwestern's offensive line couldn't protect their quarterback a year ago, but you got 4 offensive line starters returning. You got a decent quarterback. So I think all the elements are there for Northwestern actually to have some success today passing the ball. I already know they're going to be able to run the ball. And yeah, Nevada wants to come in here and they want to average 100 plays per game. Yeah, well, that's great, but I just don't see that happening today against Northwestern. So I'm willing to lay the 24 points with them, unlike my willingness to not lay 33 points with Auburn or something. So I think Northwestern is a solid complementary play, and that's going to be your other complementary play to go along with Nebraska, 14.5-point choice at home against Arkansas State. And those are your 2 free plays on a Saturday card, which did not have exceptional values up and down the board. There were a lot of bad teams playing bad teams, and those are games you just have to want to avoid on a day like today. So Nebraska and Northwestern are your 2 comp plays for Saturday. And we'll do this again, guys, on Sunday. Good luck.